Today, we're diving into a truly audacious idea, one that weaves together space tech, artificial intelligence, and Indigenous sovereignty. We're talking about a project that aims to solve some of Canada's biggest challenges by, well, looking up.
To really wrap your head around this, just start by picturing a massive, incredibly powerful data center. The kind of engine that runs our entire digital world. Now, imagine the data center doesn't need a single drop of water or a massive humming power plant just to keep from overheating. Instead, it uses the perfect, infinite cold of outer space. For free. And here is the real kicker, the part that changes everything. What if this revolutionary piece of infrastructure wasn't owned by some Silicon Valley giant, but was majority owned and governed by Indigenous nations, with all the profits flowing directly back to their communities? That right there, that's the core idea behind Star Nations. Okay, so let's get into the why. Because this project, it's way more than just cool technology. It's a direct response to three critical, converging crises that Canada is staring down right now. So first up, you've got the Northern Digital Divide. We're talking about 4 million Canadians in remote and northern regions who still don't have reliable internet. That's a huge barrier to economic development, and frankly, it's a threat to our Arctic sovereignty. Second, the global demand for AI is just exploding, but the data centers that power it on Earth are guzzling unsustainable amounts of electricity and water. And third, Canada has a clear legal mandate for economic reconciliation with Indigenous peoples. Star Nations is engineered to tackle all three of these head-on. So you might be wondering, how does this actually work? Is this even possible? And the answer is yes. This isn't science fiction. The whole project is built on validated, cutting-edge hardware. Let's break down the tech that really powers this orbital constellation. Think of each satellite as a floating powerhouse. They're packed with NVIDIA's next-gen Blackwell GPUs, which give them a massive leap in performance for those heavy AI jobs. They also have quantum processors on board to solve ridiculously complex problems, the kinds of things that would stump even the best supercomputers. And for communication, they use optical links, basically lasers, for lightning-fast data transfer between satellites. But the real secret sauce is how they handle all the heat that this hardware generates. Now, this is what's really interesting. It's a key piece of Canadian-developed tech called the cryogenic TWPA. Now, that's a mouthful, but what's important is what it does. See, all that high-performance computing generates an incredible amount of heat. This little device basically acts like a hyper-efficient radiator, reducing that thermal output by a factor of 10,000. This is the key that unlocks the vacuum of space as a perfect, totally free, and infinite cooling system. And this right here really illustrates the game-changing advantage. Down on Earth, data centers are a massive drain on our water and power grids. But in orbit, Star Nations uses zero water, runs on 100% renewable solar power, and is cooled naturally by the vacuum of space. It's not just a new place for a data center. It's a fundamentally smarter, more sustainable model for computing altogether. All right, so the tech is incredible. But the next big question is always, who's paying for all of this? And the answer lies in a really clever, self-sustaining financial model. This quote from the project briefing just sums it up perfectly. Instead of going back to the government for funding year after year, the entire strategy is to sell high-value computing services to global corporations and then use that revenue to fund the public service mission right here in Canada. And believe me, that global market is huge. By 2032, the project is forecasting over $2.3 billion in annual revenue. The biggest drivers are going to be AI services for big tech firms and quantum optimization for banks and logistics companies. Solving those mind-bendingly complex problems like fleet routing or financial modeling. This is a premium service that global clients are more than willing to pay top dollar for. And here's the crucial point, the real beauty of the model. Those high-margin profits from corporate clients are used to completely pay for the cost of building and operating the network that provides connectivity to the north. The private, for-profit engine funds the public good mission. It creates a sovereign utility that doesn't cost the taxpayer a dime to operate in the long run. Okay, so this all sounds amazing in theory, right? But what does it actually look like in practice? Well, the project has a very clear, phased rollout and a governance structure that was designed from day one to ensure true sovereignty and real community benefit. The technical precedent is set to be established in November 2025, proving the core concept can work up in orbit. But the first really big impact for everyday Canadians comes in the third quarter of 2027. That's when the Northern Sovereignty pilot kicks off, providing immediate direct-to-cell emergency messaging. This is a total game changer, eliminating those dangerous communication dead zones in the Arctic for things like search and rescue. And from there, the full high-speed broadband constellation starts its deployment in 2029.
And honestly, the governance might be the most revolutionary part of this whole thing. The entire operation is guided by the First Nations principles of OCAP. That stands for Ownership, Control, Access, and Possession. It's a framework that guarantees true data sovereignty. A 51% Indigenous majority on the board ensures control, and that means hundreds of millions in projected annual dividends will flow directly back to Indigenous communities to fund critical needs like housing, education, and language revitalization.
And this isn't just some pipe dream. It is backed by very serious capital. Longhouse Capital, which is an Indigenous-led infrastructure fund, is targeting a $1 billion investment pool for projects exactly like this. Having that kind of significant private backing minimizes the financial risk for the federal government, and it proves there's strong market confidence in this model.
So it all leaves us with a pretty fascinating question, doesn't it? Is this unique blend of cutting-edge technology, a self-sustaining financial model, and Indigenous-led governance? Is this the future blueprint for how we build our most critical infrastructure? It's a model where technology serves community, profit serves purpose, and sovereignty is built right into the architecture from the very beginning. The project team is actively looking for partners, so for anyone who's interested in the technical details or a potential collaboration, you can actually reach them at jcarter@bearstandingtall.com. It's definitely a powerful vision for the future.